So you have your guitar, or you're about to buy it, and there's all kinds of accessories that you've heard about or things that you may or may not need for guitar. Well, right now we're going to run through the list of the ones that you actually do need, and I'll explain why. And then at the end, I'll just rattle them off in list form so that you can get a piece of paper and write them down. And that way, when you're at the guitar shop or you're, surfing Amazon, you can actually get this stuff. It's pretty important stuff. So here, let's check my notes. All right. Number 1, picks. Some people say they do not need a pick or they'd rather not play with a pick. But, you may think that, but you actually do need to learn how to play with a pick. I want you to get not only one pick, but a bunch of them. I want you to get a little pile of picks and put them in a little jewelry box or some kind of little special place and get them in a couple different thicknesses, starting around the thickness of a Fender medium, and then go a little lighter maybe for acoustic guitar. But you're going to want some picks, and you're going to want to have it in your hand a lot so that it becomes comfortable. If it feels like a weird appendage sticking out of your hand, just spend more time with the pick in your hand. I probably walked around with a pick in my hand for 2 years when I first started playing guitar until I didn't even know it's there. It gave me a very awkward handshake, but it also made me sound a lot better on my guitar. Picks. Note the plural. All right. Strings. You're going to want to have at least one extra set of strings for your guitar. You don't need to put them on unless your strings are old. But if you do, then you have another set that's just a backup. Now, why would this be? Well, you never know when you're going to break a string. Anything could happen. Somebody could get a hold of your guitar and break it, or you could get too excited one day and play too hard and break a string. Or you're going to take it to the beach and, the ocean air is going to get all over your guitar and you're going to notice that your strings are turning gray or green and they sound like they have no life in them. Just have some strings around, for sure. I would suggest a 12 gauge steel string set. Maybe Diodario or GHS, or doesn't matter. Just get yourself a set of strings around a 12 gauge, maybe 11, for steel string acoustic. For nylon string, ask the guitar shop about that. Strings. You're going to need a case for your instrument. If you're going to travel, you need a hard case. And if you're just kind of throwing it in the car and driving around town, a nylon gig bag will suffice. Neither of these options is very expensive unless you get into the really highly protective hard cases. But a basic guitar bag is very important because you don't want any reason not to take it out of the house. It should be handy. It should be something you throw your guitar in that bag, and heck yeah, you take it with you to the park. You take it with you to wherever you're going. And it has this big side pocket on it usually that you can throw all this other stuff in. So your accessories are just there in your gig bag or in your guitar case. A stand. Yes, you want a guitar stand. The main reason you want a guitar stand is because keeping it in your case is one step further away from you playing it. You remember when I said that you want to look across the room and see that guitar kind of like winking at you? It's very important to have your guitar. Guitars are cool looking. You want to look over and see, you want it in a prominent room in your house where you hang out all the time. If it's in your living room and you're watching a ball game or something, a commercial comes on, pick up your guitar and play a few chords, run your chords. Just have that thing handy and have it looking cool, with a stray ray of sunlight coming in the window and gently landing on your guitar. You're going to go over there and you're going to play that thing. Please don't store it in a case. Now, if you have kids or dogs or even cats sometimes, that can endanger the lifespan of your guitar. So I could see in those scenarios, maybe you would keep it in the case, but it's a sad thing. I'm a big fan of guitar hangers too. You can get a thing called a string swing or different kind of hangers at the guitar shop. You just stick one of those on your wall, make sure it's in a good spot and that it's anchored well, and you can hang your guitar up. Nothing is sexier than looking over at the wall and there's a guitar on it. That's even better than a stand. But most of the time, a stand will do it. Extra points if you can find a stand that has some kind of clamp on the part where the neck sits so that it keeps the guitar on the stand. That's just, common sense, right? So what else we got? A capo or a capo for the folks in the UK. A capo is a clamp that effectively shortens the neck of your guitar, thus tuning it higher. So the further up you put the capo, the higher your tuning is. And back in the old days, guitar players used to talk about how that's cheating. It's cheating to use a capo. And it's never been true. The song Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles has a capo way up the neck. And it is easily one of the best acoustic guitar songs of all time. So if anybody ever tells you that using a capo is cheating, just tell him to write me about it on my website, and I'll give him an earful. But yeah, a capo is really good for changing keys and you can play the same chords that you learned, but put it in a key that's more friendly to your singing voice. Especially folks with a higher singing voice. Sometimes they'll put the capo to get it into their vocal range. Makes total sense. Maybe that's why George Harrison did it on that song. All right. Tuner. You're going to want a tuner. There are many kinds of tuners. There are pedal tuners that go on the floor. There are little clamp-on tuners. There's tuner apps. Actually, you need one of those anyway. Your phone should have a tuner app on it. There are free ones. There's fancy ones, but you need a tuner. And we're going to learn how to tune by ear, but you still need a tuner because you want to quickly be able to tune. If you walk into a room and everybody's playing guitars, you want to just duck over in the corner, put on your tuner, and quickly get your guitar in tune and jump in. You don't want to be like, I only tune by ear. We're going to get to that in a minute, but you want a tuner. There's all kinds. Just check them out. Let's see what else we got. If your guitar has a pickup, if your guitar is acoustic electric and has controls on it, then you're going to want to have a spare 9-volt battery because those 9-volt batteries die out at the worst possible moments. So if your guitar has electronics, have an extra 9-volt battery. I also suggest having a guitar cable so that you're not the one asking for a guitar cable, but you just have one in your bag. And then you don't want to leave that guitar cable plugged in all the time because it will drain the 9-volt battery. So just plug it in when you're going to use it. And that's about it. You probably want some kind of guitar polish and a cloth to keep it clean. There's other things that you can do to condition your fretboard and things like that. But going with the basics, I'm just going to run the list down for you right now, and then you can write them down. And these are the essentials, okay? Picks, multiple. Strings, a pack or two, 12 gauge. Case or bag, depending on how rough you're going to be with this thing traveling. Stand or hanger. A capo. A tuner. And a tuner app. 9-volt batteries. A guitar cable. And then if you're feeling fancy, polish and a cloth. And that's it. I'm going to play my G chord again.